Chapter 2. The Diamond Mines. And so 3 years went by. Sarah's father wrote to her often, and Sarah wrote loving little letters back to him. One day, a very exacting letter arrived. Everybody in the school talked about it for days. My friend, wrote Mr. Cliff, has some mines in northern India, and a month ago his workers found diamonds there. There are thousands of diamonds in these mines, but it is expensive work to get them out. My friend needs my help. So, little Missus, this was Mr. Cliff's special name for Sarah, I am putting all my money into my friend's diamond mines, and one day you and I are going to be very rich. Sarah was not interested in money, but a story about diamond mines in India was exciting. Nearly everybody was very pleased for Sara, but not Lavinia, of course. Ah, she says, my mother has a diamond. Lots of people have diamonds. What's so interesting about diamonds in mines? But there are thousands of diamonds in these mines, said Herman. Perhaps millions of them. Lavinia laughed. Is Sarah going to wear diamonds in her hair at breakfast then? Or is it Princess Sarah now? Sarah's face went red. She looked at Lavinia angrily, but said quietly, some people call me Princess. I know that, but Princess don't get angry or say unkind things. So I'm going to say anything to you, Lavinia. To me, you are a princess, Hermes said to Sara later, and you always look like a princess in your beautiful dresses. Sara was a princess to another girl too. This was Becky. She was a servant in Miss Mitchell's school, and she was only 14 years old. But she worked all day and sometimes half the night. She carried things upstairs and downstairs. She cleaned the floors, she made the fires, and she was always tired and hungry and dirty. She and Sara had very different lives. But one day, Sara came into her bedroom, and there was Becky, sleeping in a chair. Oh, you poor thing, Sara said. Then Becky opened her eyes and saw Sara. She got up at once. Oh, miss, she says, I am very sorry, miss. I just sat down for a minute. And don't be afraid, said Sara. She gave Becky a friendly smile. You are tired, that's all. Are you going to tell Miss Mitchell? Asked Becky. She began to move to the door. Of course not, said Sara. Please, don't run away. Sit down again for a minute. You look so tired. Oh, miss, I can't, Becky says. You're very kind, miss, but Miss Mitchell, please, said Sara. She took Becky's hands. You are only a little girl, like me. Let's be friends. And so Becky sat down again, and soon she and Sara were friends. Nobody knew about this, of course. Rich little girls at Miss Mitchell's school did not make friends with servant girls, and it was a wonderful thing for Becky. Nearly every day she and Sara met in Sara's bedroom, just for 5 minutes or 10. Becky was always hungry, and Sara often brought nice things to her to eat. They sat and talked, and sometimes Sara told Becky some of her stories. Becky loved that. Oh, miss, she says, you tell them so beautifully. Sometimes I like your stories better than things to eat. And after those visits to Sara's rooms, Betty always felt better, not so tired and not so hungry. Some months later, Sara had her 11th birthday. Lessons stopped for the afternoon, and there was a big party for all the girls in the school. This party is expensive for us, Miss Mitchell says to her sister Amelia, but it looks good for the school. That afternoon there was a visitor to the school. Miss Mitchell's lower. He went with Miss Mitchell into her office, and they closed the door. In the schoolroom next door, there was a lot of noise from Sara's party. Everybody in there was very happy, but in the office, Miss Mitchell was not happy. She looked at the lawyer angrily. "Harry, what are you saying? Mr. Crave has not money? What about the diamond mines?" "There are not diamond mines," said the lawyer. "Well, there are mines, but there are not diamonds in them." "But Mr. Crave's good friends," began Mr. Mitchell. "Mr. Crave's good friends," said the lawyer, "ran away with all Mr. Crave's money. Ralph Crave was ill with a fever, and when he heard about this, he got worse, and a week later he was dead." "Death!" cried Mr. Mitchell. "But what about his daughter, Sara, and this expensive birthday party?" "Sara Crave has not money," said the lawyer. "Not a penny in the world. Miss Mitchell's not a penny." "She must leave my school at once," Miss Mitchell says angrily. "She must go this afternoon." "Where?" said the lawyer. "Out in the street. A 11-year-old girl. That's not to look very good for your school, Mr. Mitchell." Mr. Mitchell's face went red. "You can't put her out in the street," said the lawyer. He stood up. "But perhaps she can work for you." The lawyer left, and Miss Mitchell called her sister Amelia. "Bring Sara Crave here at once," she said. 2 minutes later, Sara, in her beautiful blue party dress, stood in front of Miss Mitchell. "Have you a black dress, Sara?" Miss Mitchell says coldly. "Yes, Miss Mitchell," says Sara, "but it's very small." "Go and put it on at once," said Miss Mitchell. "Your father is dead. There were no diamond mines, and your father's friends ran away with all his money. You have nothing, not a penny, but I'm going to be very kind to you. You can stay in my house, but now you must be a servant and work for your bread. You can sleep in a servant's room downstairs next to Vicky's room."